How do you deal with a bad coworker? From bad job performance to general annoyance, here's your survival tips shared with the Brew.
Bad coworkers, we all got to deal with them on the job. So Joel, how do you handle it?
So, it depends how bad and exactly what we're talking about. Most of the time, I just let little shit go, which is, I think, what most people who are reasonable do. That includes literally everyone. Now, if you want to do that Dave Chappelle show, Keeping It Real Goes Wrong episode, you can definitely get yourself into some shit. The only time I really get into talking about, hey, you need to change something, is when it's a reoccurring thing, and B, a big issue. So this has happened to me plenty of times, but the way that I go about it is I will tell them, I'm a very direct person. If you can't tell from this goddamn show, I'm a very direct person, and I just walk up and I tell people exactly what's wrong immediately. But at the same time, you go up and you still want to be polite. They might not understand that what they're doing is wrong. So you should be very, very, very explanatory about what you're talking about. I text Joe shit about the show all the time, and it's like, oh yeah, change this little thing. That's kind of what I do with coworkers. Hey, if this is wrong, the better way to do it is this. That's a great example of doing it. But, this puts me in a position because then I have to do a little bit of extra work. But the other thing is, you're going to have to put up with a little bit of shit because no coworker is going to do anything the exact way that you want to.
Counterpoint, Jersey Joe here. No, actually, I agree with you on a lot of that. The only I'm going to add, and the one thing I'm going to say is, when I'm at work, I try to give more than 100% at everything. I've always been that way. Anything that I do, it's like Derek Jeter when he played baseball. 100% is not good enough. Most people give 100%. I try to be better than 100%. But some people walk into the job and they decide, I don't make enough, I'm going to give 80%. Well, I find it's those kind of people that don't give as much effort that eventually end up failing. And they're the ones that also don't always understand how their not giving 100% affects not only their job, their department, their product. And then at the end, that costs your company money. So that's part of it. And then also, if they're making a lot of mistakes, you can tell them once or twice, but if some people just don't get it, then they're not going to ever get it. And eventually they're going to fail, and that's where your boss has to step in when they become a losing commodity for your company.
So everything you said, I already agree with, and I'm already on point with, but that's not the point. What do you do in that situation?
Well, like I just said, if it gets to that point where they're not understanding, you got to tell your boss. That's what it is. Or as a good boss, you should already be identifying the weakest link in your department and know that's what's going on. But if you can't, because sometimes the boss is busy or doing whatever, then you're going to have to bring it up somehow, like, hey, I've talked to a certain person X amount of times. There's another failure. That's where they have to step in. You got to get management involved at that point.
Do you ever talk to your coworkers first?
Yes. Coworkers first. Let them know. I just said, let them know a couple times, but then if they're not responsive.
That's the part I don't think you mentioned, but that's a really important step because I think you should give people a chance to correct it themselves. Yes. But you need to be direct in order to do that.
That's correct. And my point of this is because you have to cover your own ass. Because at the end of the day, they could turn it around on you then. So, hey, if you told them X amount of times it's not answering, then you have to let management know. So then, hey, okay, I've now talked to so-and-so who's not helping the team out. So it's a tough situation. You never want to get in that situation. But, hey, we're human beings. It happens. We're not always in agreement with everything.
Right. And your job and my job are both different as well. There's a lot of things that I can go to a coworker and be like, hey, I need you to change this little thing. And most reasonable people will go, oh, okay, I didn't realize I was doing that wrong. And then they'll change it. Almost everybody will do that. There's a few people that won't, and those same people that won't do that for you usually won't do that for management as well. And then you and management are on the same page, which is most likely what Jersey Joe is referencing right now.
And that's when Jane Lynch and Ann Robinson walk up and say, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Right. But at the same time, if you're a part of the team, you might have to pick up slack if you're doing that. If you don't think other people are doing the same amount of work, there are such things as group projects. We had those in school. You have to deal with them in the real world.
Absolutely. And speaking about dealing with real world, our viewers have all kinds of comments on this one. So here they come. Rock Guitar says, X-Lax and a coffee will keep them on the seat away from you. Prince Nye, call them annoying straight to their faces. Bugaboo Baller, hit them with a rice cooker. Craig, what happened? Boss, it fell off the shelf. Okay, first off, those are maybe not the best answers there, but we probably should legally tell you now we don't condone violence in the workplace.
Right. Legally.
And also, who is a rice cooker in the workplace? That's a great answer, Bugaboo Baller. Starman says, just let them fail. In the days of layoffs, companies are looking to hopefully keep the better workers. Just keep working hard, let them fail. When they cost the company more in the end, they should be gone. They create their own fate, as annoying as they are to work with. And finally, Real Treats Tweets says, basically, I just ignore them unless it affects my work. And if that happens, I suddenly hint at their issues. But if they still won't act right, I ask management to move them or me to other responsibilities. My current job, I'm lucky this to not be an issue. Oh, okay, so they're kind of, both of those two, they're kind of like ignoring them a little bit.
Ignoring, yeah. I mean, I always believe in giving someone a chance. And so, yeah, you can subtly hint, but not everybody's going to get the subtle hint. I'm a little bit further along than them in that I'll be direct and be like, hey, I need you to change this. But you never know. After that, I totally agree with everything they said. I always believe in at least giving them one chance. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think just not telling anyone and then going and snitching, that's a bitch move, in my opinion.
Ooh, very, very good point. All right, that's very good. All right, that's lots more bar talk
here. You tell
here.
them. You give them a chance. You give them a chance before you do that.
I agree. Give them a chance. Absolutely. And you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to give our viewers a chance to press that like, subscribe button for all the fun here on the Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel. And maybe if you don't, Bugaboo Baller might throw a rice cooker at you because apparently he has them handy. I think, Joel, our tips and advice are pretty good. I think, viewers, I love you guys, but whoo, some of these answers in this episode were out there.
I think people have to be a little more obtuse you can't be so acute to everything everybody does is the same as you. You have to understand people come from all walks of life. There's going to be different ways to do things. Give them a chance, but also put your foot down.
There you go, because also people have different experience too, so maybe they have a different skill of a way of doing a project that you don't have, but at the end of the day, we all got to work together one way or another. That's just community life.
And then Joe and I both work in industries where we're on, team projects on a regular basis.
Yeah, it is, and some are great, some can be a challenge, but so is life. All right, well, thanks for all your great comments. Pretty interesting debate on this episode of The Brew. Glad you joined us here, and we hope you have a good one, and we'll see you next time, I hope.
Subscribe now and don't miss the fun and games on the Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel.